Okay. It's 1:39 p.m. February 17th, 2022. It's snowing on and off outside, and hold on. I've been seeing this play out in my mind for about an hour now. So I just want to get it out of my mind. But first, I need to show you all the stuff that happened. Okay. It started with just listening to this sound wave, which is a really helpful channel. And then I saw this rock thing from Michigan, but it was just sodalite. And then I remembered sodalite, and I started thinking about sodalite. And then I put this song on to listen to it. And then this was next in the recommendations. And then this showed up. And I was like, okay. So I clicked this one, and I noticed the lyrics were very interesting. Drink up, baby doll. Are you in or are you out? Just leave your things behind, 'cause it's all going off without you. Excuse me, too busy. You're writing your tragedy. These mishaps you bubble wrap when you've no idea what you're like. Okay? That song went on, and then Somewhere Over the Rainbow came on. And the part that kept ringing in my mind was, someday I'll wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind. And then it skips to, and the dream that you dare to dream, oh why can't I? Why can't this being dream? Like, it kept popping in my head, and that question kept turning in my mind. Why can't this person dream? And then the next song that came by was Morcheba's Greatest Hits album. Like, it's been a while. But the first song was If You Like Lemonade. I got 59 seconds into it, and I stopped it, and I couldn't handle the amount of stuff I was seeing anymore. It was too much. And I went back to distract myself to read the lyrics, and it says, healing holy man, once upon a time. He lived for his wife up until the crime, hunting high and low to seek revenge, brand new moral code, got made reluctant renegade. Whereas the evil spirits flowed, he drank the blood like lemonade. Remember, frou-frou? Drink up, baby doll. Are you in or are you out? And then this one says, evil spirits flowed, he drank the blood like lemonade. And then down here it says, in a border town, down in Mexico, they let him go. Law and order now, because he runs the show. So now you know. And the dream that you dare to dream, why can't I? Someday I'll wish upon a star where trouble melts like lemon drops. He drank the blood like lemonade. Drink up, baby doll. Are you in or are you out? Now you can't await your own arrival. You've 20 seconds to comply. What the fuck has this ridiculous message coming in been about for me, right? Do you know what I started seeing afterwards? Let me show you, because I'm going to draw it out for you. Where are you? I saw, do this, what side is that? So we have we're going to put a question mark here for the source. The everything, we don't even know what to call it. It's, you know, the all. Then from this thing, this everything, we get chaos. To us down here, let's say, you know, humans here in the place and like wherever it is, it kind of sounds like the ohm or a sound, like you're too close to a speaker and what you hear is chaos. But the farther you go to this from the speaker, it's a song. You can hear the melody, you can hear the lyrics. But close to the speaker, it sounds like, you know, chaos. So from this comes Gaia, or we can call her Sophia, or Christ. Okay? From that, which is in the biblical way, it's kind of different, where it says first came the word. Well, the word, the sound, the chaos, the what you couldn't comprehend because you were so close to it. From this, now mind you, I'm putting them in circles because they're each their own everything. Because it's this everything making that everything with a slightly less bit of this. So it can go and be something in the everything, okay? And then that makes that. So chaos makes Gaia. Gaia comes out of there, and then on Gaia, we experienced living beings known as Christ, Sophia, Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, Shiva, and all the other ones, okay? From this comes so many more branches. But the Sophia one were a lot. And then the Christ ones, how do I want to explain this to you? It's kind of, yeah, we're skipping. Okay. So we got to go back to the Aeons and the Archons. Which would, I guess, in a way, be more of an off branch over here. So we have Aeons, and then from the same thing we have Archons. And then obviously in between there's all the other forms of like powers, principalities, virtues, and all sorts of different things. But they all come from Big Mama, which is also Big Daddy. Okay? And then it's like trying to condense universes into words. At some point, because oh my God, how do I simplify this? She makes another being that's also the same as, it's kind of like an Aeon and Archon baby. Now, mind you, this is all before the stories we have on Earth. Okay, I'm really trying to give you a overly simplified history of billions, timeless infinity, just the one thread through all the infinite possibilities. So bear with me, because this is something I'm being asked to share with you for some reason. Okay, let's work our way back this way then. So we have current life on Earth. Let's stick with one religion, religious belief system that everybody knows about. That's easy for me to explain this to you. We have Jesus and Mary Magdalene. Technically, they're the same being up here. I wish I could hoist this up for you so you could see it better. Technically, the being you know as Yeshua is the same as the first being, this here, the source. But he was also part Archon and part Aeon. In order to exist in the mortal world down here, the extra that was made here that you know as Yaldabaoth, and the other extra, which is known as Zoe, which is not really an extra, but some off branch down here. It's like the bratty kid of the family, but she is both Aeon and Archon, kind of like them, because Aeons and Archons are made out of them. So when they incarnate into this world of duality, of this perceived duality existence, he and her had to go through these stages, Archon and Aeon, and little branches, of different species and life forms in the universes, like Elohim and Nephilim and demigods and all sorts of beings. They all incarnated in that way. But once they showed up on this earth plane down here as little peeps with toes and hands and fingers, and babies and all that, and families, the consciousness of this source went directly boop, boop into there. It skipped all this and went all the way directly from there. That's why it's the Son of God, which is technically Yaldabaoth, and Sophia, which is the mother of this entire pleroma underworld type of place. So there's Sophia over there, the pleroma, the firmament, and then all of this soap opera that goes on over here. And then from here into the world of Yaldabaoth, but it's also fueled by Zoe, which we have known as Eve and other branches of that bloodline. Right down to some of the people we perceive to be Sophia herself, like Mary Magdalene, wasn't actually Mary Magdalene, that was Sophia, it was kind of Zoe, just FYI. So, and then there was the whole Mother Mary thing, which was nearly pure as an aeonic being. And then the spirit of the Father God is the archonic energy in this place that was made by Big Mama. But that archonic energy is so close to the source that it doesn't perceive evil or anything of that sort. It simply does the balance point of the other. So one's going to coddle you and one's going to throw you in the water so you can realize you can swim already. But the other one is going to have a life raft ready for you, just in case. It's like a overly humanized parental kind of explanation I'm giving you here. So down on Earth, where we supposedly are, in this supposed reality, which is a complete absurdity, because it's so little. It's so little. compared to everything else, it's so insignificant. But it's the only place in all of existence that has had the same thread of divinity brought through it, not only by the light, but also by the dark. It is the only place in all of existence where time and movement are so slow and dense due to the interference when it's actually their gift to humanity to force such limitation on humanity for each and every thought to be selected carefully into pure perfection. They're a gift, and it's only the immaturity of the human mind where it perceives everything as a threat that it responds in illness and violence. And it's not supposed to be that way. So I think this is supposed to somehow help you to stop fighting ghosts and instead be curator to your own mind. I'm not really certain what that means, but that's what I'm being asked to tell you. To check your thoughts in a way. Because we're all the beings here are made of this stuff. Everybody. And the farther we get away from this balance, where even the negative is somehow beneficial, and to utilize it as that instead of as violence or as harm to other or self, to use negativity to benefit the world, that's when we can cross that demiurgic threshold, that because that's their checkpoint before you can level up. It's not anybody damaging, it's not some dragon trying to eat the earth or eat its babies. No, it's keeping them here so that they don't bring that illness of scattered thought and chaotic energy back towards this way. Because it's like a false chaos almost. It creates another speaker over here. But when that happens, and if the speaker is at a discord, it creates a negative resonance throughout the tapestry. When that happens, it gets wiped clean every time. So that's why these beings keep plopping down here and saying, hey, everybody, love is the only way, so on and so forth, so we can follow that thread, which its pure intention is love, truth, and unity. So we go back this way to all these other realms and realities, back towards the source. Because the path has already been cleared and made by that being itself, by that consciousness, that source of everything. It's not about chaos and order. It's not about good and evil. It's about choosing to be as much of that as you can, of that source energy that you can. Which means realizing that bad stuff exists in the world, but you don't have to keep partaking in it. You can use that energy you feel, that anger you feel, that strife and chaos and sadness, and actually transmute it into something, instead of letting it explode out of you like a volcano. That's why the earth has been treated like a mirror world. And that's why every one of these beings that shows up on the earth plane is holding a mirror first. It's like they show up here holding this, reflective surface in front of their entire being. And the only time you can see them behind it, these like angel beings, or, the ones with the horns, and some of them have horns and whatever, and tails, and they're still all your family. But the only time you can see that is when you're ringing to the thread of love, and not to the thread of, violence and mental true mental illness is violence upon the self and upon others. Anything else is a gift for you to figure out what the gift is, which brings more introspection so that you can see how you're also holding a mirror up to people. And then to see how the archonic energy can influence perception to have it seem like a shield instead of a mirror or a weapon. And how all the good things can be made to seem bad once the mind is flipped out of that duality of yin and yang. And what keeps it in check is common sense, wisdom, mother energy, and the love and support of a father figure, stability. And you're shown that in the earth, in all the elements: earth, air, fire, water. Whatever all the symbols are. I don't know. And there's spirit, with the wiggly wheel, and then there's like the infinity symbol, and then there's the crucifix and the Buddhist thing, and the crescent moon, and there's all of it. But as long as you're falling for any kind of division, you're still needing to be taught, which means you're going to keep seeing the mirrors. And then the others who think they're, showing you their true self, or that they aren't, bad people, their mirror, they can't even see that they're holding a mirror. They can't even see that they're holding a weapon. They just see things as sparkly, and not in a good fun cute, pixie kind of way or fairy kind of way, but in a mine kind of way. And you don't want to be in that thread. You want to separate yourself from that thread, but you don't want to let that thread be on its own either, because that's how they get lost to the dark. So how do you fix that situation through all this ridiculousness in the world, right? You ring that thread, love, because it goes right back to the source. You can look at this as scientifically and energetically as, what is it called, Birkeland currents that connect planets, or AC/DC wires and stuff, where we're trying to figure out which one's which. Well, the pure one is the pure one. Even if it looks like it's pure darkness, or if it looks like it's pure love, there's still something behind it, right? In every kind deed, there's a little bit of evil, isn't there? Because in some way, that kindness prevented someone to be self-reliant, because someone was kind to them. You can look at it in a very different way, can't you? You can look at the most horrible things in life, from terminal diseases to horrible acts of human behavior against others that remove their free will. In some way, the archonic energy within you is like, well, they manifested it. It's their own doing. They asked for it. Their body needed it so much that their energetic field attracted it, regardless of what the conscious mind wanted. Oh, they just lied. They did it to themselves. It's all projection. It's all gaslighting. It's all some form of manipulation. Oh, it's the Matrix. It doesn't even matter. Oh, it's all a game. Oh, they're just NPCs. Oh, it's just an AI program. It doesn't have feelings. Oh, it's just a dog. You recognize that, right? But on the other side of it is love, which means you stand up for what's right. You use common sense. You speak the truth always. You always act with kindness. You always connect with the source and not what other people tell you the source is, but the thread you find within yourself. It doesn't matter if it's in a church or if it's in a school or anywhere. All you'll ever need will be brought to you the moment you connect to that thread. And if you think you have, well, you could probably do it a lot better. And if you think it doesn't exist, then you're clinging to that thread. Either one will bring you back to that source, but one of them is going to be far more unpleasant than the other. And it all depends on which thread you're picking up. Violence or love. It doesn't matter if you're afraid. Fear is your gift. It's your warning signal. It's energy to be utilized. It's the fanning of a flame. Fear is your gift. Don't run from it. Violence is the thing you should never pretend that it doesn't exist. And instead, you don't respond in the same way. You blast it with so much love that it can't exist in your reality. And if you don't know how that works, then you have a lot of work to do. Because that's the gift of this. And it's a gift that's been made to look away from. That your heart has an electromagnetic field. It has a resonance, a sound, a light. And the kinder you are, the more strong you are in your defense of your own sanity, where you perpetually choose love no matter what, because you start to perceive the hate and violence energy and theft and plagiarism and removal of free will and altering timelines and, pretending that you're manifesting things without God and just, pretending you're so sovereign you don't even need to say thank you for anything. This whole self-ruler and ruler of all others energetic thread, it's also Christed. But do you want that? Is that what you're ringing true to? Or is it what they mock, which is altruism, unity, truth, beauty, kindness, justice, fairness, a balance, regrowth, rejuvenation, nature, the real light? It's your choice, and neither is frowned upon. They all go back to the Great Mother, and from the Great Mother we all go back to the chaos. And from there we get to see what exactly Source is. And then we do it all over again. But because we realize how much fun it is down here when we can actually all get along. So when you're praying to your gods and your goddesses, when you're saying Jesus Christ is the Savior, or you're saying, Buddha and all this stuff, recognize each of them held a spark. just like you. They all had that star in them. They all kindled it in others. They ignited it. And they fanned the flames any way they could. But their biggest fight was always lies. So if you don't want that anymore, don't fight it. Just keep speaking truth. Because eventually, those tentacles that keep coming out to attack the light and to distort the messages of God and to disgrace who they truly are by doing things that are so inauthentic to themselves that they would rather be someone else. When those things happen, you just shine that light. And you love them anyway. You don't drink the blood like lemonade. Because then you become them and you see their point of view. Then you have eaten from the apple and the tree of good and evil. And you recognize how every single thing you did was also evil to someone else, even if you lit a candle. But when you don't have that awareness, when you don't eat from that tree, you maintain your naivety and your innocence, like a child in a garden. And even the snakes become your friends, because that innocence shields you. They want to protect it too, because they don't like what they've become. So when they see purity, they want to copy it or they want to be near it any way they can. Don't be like them, because that'll break their hearts too. You don't have to fight, you don't have to deny, and you don't have to run. Even if you sit in the middle of a snowstorm, as long as you know you're connected to that source, nothing will ever harm you. Not even the nothing. And then the story continues from here into other infinite possibilities. Because there will have been brought, balance will have been brought. Not just back to, the yin yang, but to all of it. So if you're a good person, do good things. If you've done bad things, it's okay. You have a choice right now to not do them anymore. You'll probably mess up, but you'll have another choice to do better. And eventually you'll keep doing better until you realize how many bad choices you had made previously and how you were never really that person. So stop trying to fix it and just keep making mistakes, but at least make them going the right way. Because remember, if we're trying to rethread from here to make some other thread to go back there, then not only do we have to go through every horrible decision and action and possibility of reality for fucking eternity until we figure out we don't need to do that, we can go right to that and go right back to source. And going back to source does not mean that your reality is over. It means that there's an entire other reality back there that you're unaware of. Because just as there's a pleroma and a firmament here, there's another one here, there's another one here, there's another one there, and another one there, and another one there, and another one there, and another one there. And the source of everything is also in a place where there is a source of everything that made that source of everything. It is indistinguishable, just like you are indistinguishable from that source right now. Do you get it yet? It's okay if you don't. You will eventually, because it's really, really, really simple. It's the simplest thing. That's why it's so easily manipulated. But it never loses its simplicity. This is all an inversion of Source itself, experiencing itself through a massive cosmic fucking mirror. Just like white holes and black holes in space. They're not really holes, you just can't see the color variations because your eyes are just opening. You're like a baby. And you think you've made bombs and worlds and you rule governments and all this stuff. You're just toys, playing with toys. And eventually you're going to realize you don't have to treat yourself like a toy. Because you're actually this. You're this thing's toy. No one else's. And you're its favorite toy. And by toy, I don't mean an inanimate object that has become animate. Look at the word toy. It is a crossing point. The word O, infinity, eternity, everything. And then Y, the cup that holds that which sustains you. It can also be viewed as the hips of a mother. And when you sat on your mom's lap when you were a baby, you felt like her cutest little toy because you were cherished and you were hugged and you were kissed and you were played with and you were everything you did was perfect and acceptable. And that's what Source sees you as, yes. So just imagine how silly it is for any being outside of the awareness and consciousness of 3 dimensions to look into these 3 dimensions and see human beings fighting each other. It's kind of funny. Your source itself writing your own tragedies. From sicknesses to diseases to world wars to whatever else you guys make up. You've already shown each other what you're capable of on sci-fi. And some reality is worse than any sci-fi you guys could ever come up with. Because you have access to that power. And you used it to make explosives. That's not good. That's why they're all here, keeping this world contained and quarantined. And you guys think it's because of a floating bacteria of some kind. when it's your own thoughts manifesting. All your own thoughts about how you want to hurt other people and how other people are hurting other people, and then the perpetuation of the wildfire of mental disease, and then the copying of others who are pure, and then the denial and the dark magic being used, and then the trees and ancient ones being cut down. Insanity. And then spying on each other and going and hiding underground and messing with the entire Mother Earth's breath. You messed with that was closest to the source, Mother Gaia's child. And now they are here. So who's next to take up arms against another living being? I'm certain many of you have been having dreams of angels handing you contracts, courtrooms, people jumping into your realities and then jumping out of them. And some of you seeing far worse. It's because the mirrors are being held closer to your faces now. So what are you going to choose, little lights? Do we need to hold your hand some more and pretend to be among you as you? Are you ready to put down the fairy tales and actually pick up real fairy tales? But don't pinch the real fairy's tale, okay? I'm talking about books. A world that is teaching you how to be more of yourself. It doesn't matter if you try to break the wheel of the tapestry or the matrix. There is nothing you can do. It is designed the way it's designed to show you how you are and how others are. There is you and there are others. Do not allow others to manipulate your mind into thinking that it's only your reflection. That's their lies, distorting their truth. There is you and there is other. Yes, you all come from the same source. But just as there are other beings in existence, there are other you in existence. But they are also the same as source. But the experiences are all different to where they have all created different individuals, perfectly unique. So yes, everyone is you pushed out, but no, everyone is not you. You are you, and there is only one of you. Even if you are cloned and copied and attempted to replicate it, which is not possible, there's still only one you. And it's you. So what they do is an example for what you can and can't do, want and don't want to do. It's your choice. You can make your own way, and you can go all the different ways until you get back there. And you can do it all over again as much as you want. But while you're here, be kind. Better than you've been. Just as they use kindness as a weapon, and they desecrate love, you can use love as a weapon and kindness as a shield. You can love them harder. You can bestow blessings upon them more heavily then any of their hatred can ever pass across a shield of your kind act. It's that simple. And they know this. That's why they do this. To show you this, so you can realize, ha, it's that easy. The breath of life that was given to Adam and Eve was given by her and her child. The body it was put into was made by them and their child. And in that union has come almost 11 attempts at making a human being that doesn't self-destruct. So we can try again. But every time there's less and less and less access from this. Because every time the reset happens, it's because they chose more of this instead of this. They chose more fear instead of love. So the channel strings itself tighter and tighter and tighter, like threads from a tapestry, finally forming a picture. You can choose to unravel yourself at any minute and choose love, whatever that means to you. Or you can keep waiting and doing what you've been doing. Either way, the end result is the same. You'll eventually go home once you realize you are home and what that means to you. There is a you deep inside of you. It speaks a different language. When we ignore that language, a different you is formed. When we try to bring them together, we cause a loop. If we separate them, we become two people. And who we would have been and who we are go in different ways. Each of them becomes a different person. There's still you, but one of you speaks Assyrian, the other you speaks French, the other you speaks Persian, the other you speaks Canadian, a boot. the other you is Swedish and Mexican and whatever else. But every choice of separation from this point to this point has been the back and forth between this choice and this choice. So you've done nothing wrong. You just made so many negative choices that it created an entire new possibility for everything. Which means from this point, you can even choose to go farther down and make even more horrible choices. Or make good choices and balance them up between positive and negative choices and see where the fuck that road takes you. Because this one's okay with everything. It has the breath of life, which is eternal and infinite. It has its consciousness, which is eternal and infinite. And the only thing that changes is the appearance and shape of the body and the growth of the soul. And no matter how twisted or untwisted it gets, it's still loved by Source. So choose what you will, but choose it because it's authentic to you. If you're going to be a dick, then be the biggest standing, proudest dick in the world. If you're going to be a naive, gullible, wimpy, baby that's just cute, go for it. If you're going to be, the Queen of Swords or the King of Swords or an actress or an actor, a musician, whatever, do it with love. You want to be a doctor, a botanist, a clown, a musician, a paper mache or origami maker? I don't know. Go for it. I love you. I don't care. Even if you copy and lie and steal and cheat, I still see the real you behind who you're pretending to be. Even if it is me, I still love you. And even if you do nothing and you just drift among life like a leaf in the wind, it's okay. Some part of that wanted to experience that. But take responsibility for who you are. Otherwise, it branches and someone else will be who you are or would have been, and they'll never be able to do it as good as you. Even if it is you copy pasted, it's still not you. So love yourself. Doesn't matter what they say loving yourself is like. You know what loving yourself is like because you feel loved. And whatever they say about you, they're secretly saying about themselves first. And what you're pointing out about them doesn't matter. They already know. So don't even bother. Don't expect help. And don't expect any rescue. You'll get help when you let yourself be helped. You don't have to beg. You make the choice to receive help, and it's there. You're that powerful. And more so, which in time you'll realize. Make the choice, and it's yours, because it's always there. But if you choose out of a place of hatred and anger and fear and need, then you'll get a distorted, twisted form of what you asked for. Because you clutch the thread so tightly that even if light comes through to you, it has to spiral itself into oblivion before it gets to you. It's like a package in the mail that should come, nice and neat, but it comes all beat up and twisted, But when your channel is clean and clear, whatever that means to you, there are shamans who are so connected to the earth while they eat fresh blood and meat. But that's their connection. It doesn't have to be yours. You can probably eat Skittles and survive and you're fine. Doesn't mean Betty Bob over there can do it and be fine. You don't have to help them in the way that you think you do. You just being you is enough. And that's the message to everybody. And those that want to project and those that want to whatever, realize they're basically just cheering you on. They see you moving and they're talking what they can talk, and you don't even know if that's what they mean. Because when you feel an emotional outburst and you say something, usually it's not even what you were wanting to say, but it just sounds like it. I mean, how could words really put any meaning towards light, sound, and vibration? And you want a word or a sentence out of anyone's mouths to be accurate. It doesn't work that way. So even if they're talking smack, or if you're talking smack, or if you're pointing it out, or they're pointing it out, or whatever, it's still only 60-40. It's not the 100% accurate depiction of any factual evidence or experience. Because we don't have the words. Not in these languages. We did at some point in those native languages we spoke before we spoke languages. But with these words, if I see the universe and I tell you the universe, all you're seeing is words. But what I'm seeing is the entire universe in full color and life. There's something lost in the translation. So they're not empty words. They're hollow. That's why I have to point these things out to you in this way. And I have to beg existence itself. But by the time you watch this, you can see what I can see and what I've been shown by this same source. So that these videos to you are simply child's play. And I hope they last the test of time in this, whatever this is. So that even if you're 800 years old or 800,000 years old or 8, you can find them and they bring you some clarity. Because I really wish someone would have explained all this stuff to me when I was little. And they didn't. They said God made a baby out of a virgin woman, and he killed that baby, and it's all God's fault, and all the people are God, and God's just crazy. No one filled in the gaps for me about the Mother Goddess, about Father God, about who they really are and what they really did. They didn't humanize them in that way. They didn't tell me about Sophia and Zoe and Mary and all the other ones. I didn't even know they existed. All I knew was fairy tales that I was telling myself. And somehow they were true. Or I made them true. Potato, potato. You are an unfathomable creature. And maybe I'm just saying that to myself. But you're also me, and I'm also you, so I guess it doesn't matter. I love you. And I hope wherever you are, and whatever you're doing, that you feel slightly closer to your concept of Sophia, the Great Mother, and all her absurd love for you, with or without anything else. I hope you get Gaia and Christ a little more. And I hope you comprehend the love Archons have for you. And how much it breaks them for you to think that they are their enemy, that they are your enemy, or that you are their enemy. It's like an angry grandfather being disappointed in you, that you thought he was punishing you. But imagine the wisdom it would take to see that, huh? You'll get there. I mean, you already pray to the offspring of Yaldabaoth. and you call him your Messiah. And you don't realize who his mother really was. What it took for her, what it took for Sophia. You don't realize these things. You don't even realize their family tree. You don't realize they were half Archon and half Aeon. You barely even know what those words mean. You think of them as giant floating god beings. They're eternities on their own. Take time to connect with nature. Your skin and nature's skin are direct pathways to source. Better than any technological device. That is why they use liquid and crystals to make your devices, because they benefit from your touch. Nature. Natura. That's home.